The world you live in today feels dangerous enough. Lions stalk the savannas, tigers patrol the jungles, and bears wander deep forests. But what if I told you that not too long ago, Earth's land was ruled by predators so massive and so relentless that even our strongest hunters today would look like kittens by comparison? Let's start with a monster that would have made even the grizzly bear look harmless. Meet Arctotherium, the giant short-faced bear. This wasn't just big, it was colossal. Weighing nearly 2 tons, it stood up to 14 feet tall when on its hind legs. That's taller than most one-story houses. Now you might think such a bulky beast lumbered slowly, but fossils suggest its relatives could sprint at 40 miles per hour. Imagine a predator larger than a car, charging at you faster than the fastest Olympic runner. With bone-crushing jaws and the ability to chew through carcasses, this giant had no trouble making flesh and bone disappear. To it, you would have been nothing more than a quick snack. If the land wasn't terrifying enough, the skies of New Zealand once held another nightmare. Haast's eagle. With a wingspan stretching 10 feet, it was the largest eagle ever known. Its primary prey? The moa, a flightless bird that could weigh 15 times more than the eagle itself. How did it take them down? By swooping from above and slamming dagger-like talons straight into their skulls. Maori legends even speak of these eagles snatching children, disappearing into the sky with their helpless prey. So think about this. On land, a bear that could outrun you and swallow you whole. Above, an eagle with the strength to strike down creatures far larger than you. In this world, there was no safe direction, whether you looked to the ground or to the sky. And the truth is, these were only the beginning. Now, if you thought bears and eagles were enough to haunt your nightmares, wait until you see what came next. Because even animals we consider harmless today, rodents, lizards, even marsupials, once grew into predators and giants that you would never want to cross paths with. Let's begin with something that sounds almost laughable, until you realize how enormous it was. Josepho Artigacia monisi, a rodent. Yes, technically it was related to guinea pigs. But instead of something you could hold in your hands, this giant stretched up to 10 feet long and weighed as much as 12 full-grown humans, over 2,200 pounds. Imagine standing beside a rodent the size of a small car. Even more terrifying, scientists estimate its bite force at 3,600 pounds per square inch. That's on par with a saltwater crocodile. Thankfully, it wasn't hunting meat. Instead, it used its foot-long incisors to slice through wood, nuts, or defend itself. Still, with teeth that size, you wouldn't want to test its patience. But rodents weren't the only giants. Australia, already home today to some of the deadliest creatures on Earth, was once ruled by Megalania, a lizard over 23 feet long. Double the size of a Komodo dragon, Megalania wasn't just powerful, it was venomous. Its bite delivered toxins that thinned blood, dropped blood pressure, and left its victims in shock, unable to fight back. And here's the chilling part. Megalania may have lived as recently as 50,000 years ago, which means the first humans in Australia may have actually seen these monsters face to face. And then there was Thylacoleo, the so-called marsupial lion. Stocky, strong, and weighing over 200 pounds, it didn't have canine fangs like big cats today. Instead, it used massive incisors to stab into flesh, powered by jaw muscles strong enough to match a modern lion's bite. Add in retractable thumb claws designed for disemboweling prey, and you had one of the most efficient killers Australia ever produced. So picture this. Rats the size of cars with crocodile bites, lizards longer than buses dripping venom, and lions that weren't even cats, but marsupials with bone-crushing jaws. If the modern world feels dangerous, the ancient one was something far beyond, and still, we're only scratching the surface. If rodents and reptiles could grow into monsters, what about the creatures most like us? Or the dinosaurs we only glimpse in movies? The truth is, some of the most terrifying predators to ever live fall into these two groups. Take Gigantopithecus. Imagine an ape that stood 10 feet tall and weighed over 1,000 pounds, twice as heavy as the largest gorillas today. Fossilized teeth and jaws are all we have, but they tell us enough. This giant relied heavily on bamboo, much like modern pandas. But here's the unsettling thought. If even a silverback gorilla can overpower a human with terrifying ease, what chance would you have against something twice its size? Climate change eventually reduced its forests into savannas, leaving this titan without enough food to survive. Now shift to North America, about 23 million years ago. There the land shook beneath Daeodon, a predator often nicknamed the killer pig. But don't think barnyard pig, think nightmare beast. 6 feet tall at the shoulder, nearly 1,700 pounds, and armed with forward-facing eyes for tracking prey. Without claws, it hunted differently, ramming its victims with raw force, then tearing into them with 10-inch canines. A predator that crushed before it killed. And of course, we cannot forget the dinosaurs. Spinosaurus, the largest carnivorous dinosaur ever discovered, stretched nearly 60 feet long and weighed over 20 tons. With a crocodile-like snout and 6-inch conical teeth, it specialized in hunting giant fish. Yet it could also dominate on land, its strange sail perhaps helping it balance in the water. Then came Utahraptor. Forget the small velociraptors from the movies. This bird-like predator grew 18 feet long and carried a 15-inch claw on each foot. With slender legs for speed and likely covered in feathers, it was a lethal combination of speed, size, and precision. Giant apes, killer pigs, and dinosaurs sharper and deadlier than fiction. And still, the deadliest hunting grounds weren't on land at all. They waited beneath the waves. If the land was dangerous, the oceans were far worse. Beneath the waves, entire ecosystems were ruled by predators so massive and so ruthless that stepping into the water would have been a death sentence. Start with Purosaurus. This crocodile wasn't just big, it was gargantuan. 35 feet long, as big as a school bus, with a bite force measured at 11 tons. To put that into perspective, that's 20 times the crushing power of a modern alligator. Its menu? Anything it could catch. Giant turtles, massive ground sloths, and even other predators. Picture an entire river system where the top rule was simple. If it moved, Purosaurus ate it. But even that monster seems small compared to the true giant of sharks, Megalodon. Stretching up to 60 feet long and weighing as much as 70 tons, this was the apex predator of the seas. Its jaws could open wide enough to swallow a human whole without even noticing, packed with 276 teeth, each nearly 7 inches long. Its bite force was a staggering 40,000 pounds per square inch, 10 times stronger than a great white shark. Imagine an animal powerful enough to crush a car like it was a soda can. That was Megalodon. For millions of years, no creature dared to challenge it. Well, almost none, because at the same time, the oceans were also home to Leviathan, or Livyatan melville. A prehistoric sperm whale stretching over 55 feet long, it carried teeth more than a foot in length, the largest biting teeth of any animal to ever live. And it didn't hunt fish, it hunted whales. With the strength of a battering ram, it could slam into prey, stun it, then tear it apart. Some scientists even suggest it used sound like modern sperm whales do. High-frequency blasts so powerful they could shock prey into paralysis. So in the seas, you had crocodiles the size of buses, sharks with jaws big enough to swallow a human boat and all, and whales that hunted other whales. Compared to them, the ocean we know today feels almost calm. But if you think the seas were strange, wait until you see the sky. By now, you've seen the giants of land and the monsters of the sea. But Earth's strangest predators weren't always the biggest or the strongest. Some looked so alien that if you saw them today, you'd swear they were creatures from another world. Take Therizinosaurus. Standing over 16 feet tall, it didn't terrify with its size alone. It terrified with its claws. Each one stretched more than 1.5 feet, the longest claws of any animal in history. And yet, despite this nightmarish appearance, scientists believe it was mostly a plant eater. Still, if you found yourself face to face with a creature swinging 6-foot size from its arms, would it matter if it wanted leaves instead of meat? Then there's Platydibelodon. Imagine an elephant, but stranger. It had a trunk, yes, but also a massive shovel-shaped jaw fitted with flat tusks. It used this bizarre tool to cut through plants and strip bark from trees. On the surface, it may not seem threatening, but keep in mind, modern elephants can kill hundreds of people every year. Now give that power to a creature wielding a built-in shovel. Suddenly, harmless doesn't quite fit. And finally, the skies belong to giants too. Quetzalcoatlus, the largest flying animal to ever exist, towered at 16 feet tall with wings stretching 36 feet across. That's the wingspan of a small plane. It likely prowled ancient landscapes like a stork, plucking up small dinosaurs and swallowing them whole. Even smaller flyers like Rhamphorhynchus looked intimidating, with needle-like teeth designed to spear fish straight from the water. So imagine living in a world where the sky was filled with flying reptiles, the ground trembled beneath apes and predator pigs, and the seas churned with sharks and whales the size of ships. The truth is simple. Earth was once ruled by monsters far greater than anything alive today. And that's why when you walk outside, when you swim, or when you look up at the sky, you should be glad these creatures remain only in the past.